Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Now, this is just business overall. Now, on this channel, I first started calling it Rom Wills About That Business. And that still pops up, even though I call it Rom Wills Money Matters. But if you're going to jump into business, the one thing you can't have is being afraid to take a risk. Businesses are risk. I don't care what it is, how large it is. You can't assume that business is going to be there. Even if you say, well, nah, I ain't going to get into business. I'm just going to get a job at this place. Well, let's think about this. How many major corporations have closed down or moved or whatever? Stores, manufacturing plants or something like that. So it's a risk no matter what. Now, they ain't as bad a risk, but it's still a risk. And now if you're talking about starting a business, you're taking a risk because you're starting a business because there's so much there. But you can't be afraid, because if you're afraid to take that risk, then you're not going to start that business to begin with. You are not going to start that business to begin with. I don't care how much research you do, how many questions you ask, whether your strength, you are totally aware of your strengths and weaknesses. You still got to make that leap. And that is very important. That is very important. And look, I'm going to tell you something now. I've taken a lot of risk. I ain't going to lie. I've taken a lot of risks. Some have been successful. Many more haven't been. When I talk a joke about 1,000 jobs, a lot of them have been, businesses that I was trying. And it is what it is, but you learn from it. But that risk piece is very important, because it's always going to be something. I don't care, because I'm going to tell you what, because no matter what, no matter how much research you do, how many questions you ask, you still got to get customers. You still have to make money, And then even when you making money, you might make 10,000 one day, and then the next day 100. You don't know, but you have to keep going, because it's going to go up and down. So you have to keep going no matter what. But you can't be afraid, because if you're afraid, then you ain't going to take that risk to begin with. I believe it was Les Brown who said, if you look in a cemetery, you have more businesses, ideas, and everything. I ain't remember whether it was Les Brown, but some people have told me it was Les Brown who said that. But that's true. That's true. They didn't take the risk. Like, how many times have y'all met that person and they could make some food? I mean, they could cook. No, they could cook. You like, yeah. You get in there and you be like, yeah, they can cook. They can make some stuff. They didn't take that risk. They were afraid, so they were sticking with their job. There's some people who do take that risk, though, and then they create like multiple restaurants, some type of food business. It could be painting. It could be anything, any business. But if you're afraid to take that risk, what's the point? Because I'm going to tell you what, starting a business is a certain amount, it really is a certain amount of bravery. It really is. It really is. You can't get past that. It's a certain amount of bravery. It's a certain amount of stuff that you're going to have to do regardless. It really is, because you don't know. Everything I'm doing in business now, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. Even doing these videos. I remember back in 2017, they had what they called the ad apocalypse. They had the ad apocalypse. Now, I was still working a full-time job, and I was about to take that risk and jump away from it. Then they had jump away from that full-time job. They had the ad apocalypse. So I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to wait a bit, but I was still going to take the risk, and I still took it. And look where I am now. But I wasn't afraid to. But you still want to take a calculated risk, though. You just don't want to jump into it. Hence why I talked earlier this week about asking the questions. Doing the research, getting a mentor if necessary, getting a mentor period, being aware of your strengths, being aware of your weaknesses. That's why I said all of that, because you want to lessen the danger of that risk. You want to make it a calculated risk. You say, look, I did all this. Okay, I have a good chance I'm going to make it. Okay, boom. You got to get past that fear, because what's the point? Because I've seen plenty of people talk about a business, talking about making money, have some talent, but they won't do it. They'll get that regular job, but then complain on the regular job. That's the crying thing about it. That's the thing that was just sad about it. They'll complain when they get on that regular job and stuff. And then the regular job goes out of business, or something happens, they not working there anymore. Nah, that's not how you want to do it. One of the things with this channel really is just getting out there. I want young men and young women to really go out there and do what they're going to do. But you got to take that risk. You can't be afraid to. Hence, as I said earlier, hence why I said you want to ask as many questions. You want to do the research. You want to know what your strengths are. Then you want to work on your weaknesses. You want to get the certifications. You want to get the education. You want to do what you got to do in order to make it to that next level. So then the risk is not the danger that it might have been at first. And I can't emphasize that enough. If you're watching this channel, there's something in you that wants to be that business person, that wants to be successful. There's something in you. I would say it's in you, but you still have to go forward, because businesses in general are a risk. I don't care what you do, where you are, whatever. But you have to have it. You have to have that bravery, because you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for something that's in your heart to do, that you're driven to do. And let's be real, you want to make some money. You want to make some money out this joint, right? So you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to go out and do what you need to do to make money. You can't be afraid to do something that's in your heart, that's in your spirit to do, all right? So you can't be afraid. It's going to be a risk, but you know what? Ask the question. I'm going to say it one more time. Ask the questions. Do the research. Know what your strengths are. Know what your weaknesses are. You want to make this happen, all right? So that's all I have for today. I want y'all to really think about it. Don't be afraid to take that risk. So y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.